How can I draw lines with exact coordinates? If it is your question, you are in the right place. Let's crush it. Hello dear learners and welcome to your YouTube channel, Civil Engineering with Reza. I'm very happy that I can see you again. In this session, we are going to learn how to draw with exact coordinates. Till now, we were working with an arbitrary points, but from this session, we will work with exact coordinates. To review our previous session, we talked about drawing with random or arbitrary points with the line. Let's review it quickly. Our example was a star. So I left click on the line and here I say that my start point, it's an arbitrary point. My start point, next point, next point, next point, next point, and this is. It's an arbitrary point. But to be, let's delete it. To be more exact and working exactly with coordinates, we can work in other manners. It means that with absolute rectangular coordinates, with relative rectangular coordinates, with direct input method and relative polar coordinates. What are they? I will talk about them one by one. Don't worry. But let's come here. In our Cartesian coordinate system, we can have, as you know better than me, our absolute coordinates and relative coordinates. Absolutes are clear. It means that I say point 3 and 2. If I talk about x and y direction, it means that in 2D form, I say that 3 and 2. It means that 3 in x direction and 2 in y direction, that point. But about relative, it means that they are not working from the origin. They are based on and related to their previous point. It means that if I'm now in this point, I'm at the point 2 and 1. If I want to go to point 3 and 3, in relative coordinates, I need to say that I need to go 1 in x direction and 2 in y direction to reach to my point. It's relative to the previous point. But in absolute coordinates, we talk about them completely from the start point. From the origin, not the start point, I'm sorry. From the origin. About the relative coordinate system, we can work with rectangular form that I told you and in polar coordinate system. What is a polar coordinate system? It means that working with a radius and a degree. I will inform you all of them. Let's come here and as you can see in our AutoCAD we have this sign. We call this UCS icon, means that user coordinate system. This point is our origin in AutoCAD, the intersection part of this x and y. As you see, it's our 0, 0 point. To separate our x and y directions, we use comma between these 2 points. As you can see now, my AutoCAD or Windows, that drawing windows that I have got here is in a graph paper manner. Now, as you see, we call them grid in AutoCAD. Now my grid is on. If I turn it off, it's like a blank paper. Now I turn it on. If you can turn it on and off by pressing F7 control, but in laptop you need to simultaneously keep Fn key and F7. As you see, it's turned off and on. If you don't have this part here, you can come to this part and in grid, now it's on. If I check it out, you see I don't have it. But now I check it and I have it again here. Now let's go here and talk about our origin. As I told you, this is our origin point, means that 0, 0. The first one is for x and the second one is for y. Each of these grids, as you can see, their distance is 1. It means that this point is 1, 0 and this point is 0, 1, 0, 1. In this part, if I say 5, 3, it's based on origin point. So it's an absolute coordinate. Or imagine 4, 3. It's my absolute coordinate. It means that I check it based on my origin. Now, but I'm in 3, 2. If I want to go to 4, 3, by relative coordinates, I need to check based on this point. If I want to go from here, I need to say that I need to go 1 unit in x direction, 1 unit in y direction. Until here, I say 1, 2, 3. We don't work with units. You can imagine that it's in millimeter, centimeter, meter, or inch and foot. There is no difference between them. To see that, what is the distance in this square? It means that in x and y direction, or this small square, what is the size of that? We can come to grid, right click on that, grid setting. From here, you can see that grid in x spacing says that it's 10. So it's 10 units. To be compatible with our example, to make it 1, I can say that changing it to 1, and in y direction again 1. Now, okay. As you can see, these are, I made them more finer. Now, if I zoom it, this time their distance, if I come here and see that in here it's near 0 and 0, our coordinates are here. I have mentioned your previous session. It's 0, 0, 0. The third one is for z direction. We work in 2D. I don't talk about the third one. But if I come here, it's 0, 1, 0, and here is 0, 1. Now it's compatible with our form that we have here. So now let's see how can we start drawing with absolute coordinates. Now I again active my command line. I come here, says that specify your first point. I say that 0, 0. Be careful in specifying the first point. It's meaningless to say that it's my absolute coordinate or relative coordinates, because first point there is no difference between them at first point. But for the other points, we need to be careful about the difference between the absolute coordinates and relative coordinates. In here, near cursor, you can see dynamic input. If I type at this point any number in, for example, 2, 2, these will be in relative form, not absolute form. For making it in absolute form, I need to do a trick. For example, I can come to this command line and I say that my next point is 2, 3. Enter. Now I have my next point here. As you see, 2 in x direction, 3 in y direction. From this point, I can say that now it's my trick here. For using with absolute coordinates, I need to keep the shift key and number 3 for activating the sharp. Now, as you see, the first part in my command, in my dynamic input is sharp sign. Now, if I give any number, the first one now is active for x direction. If I say 8, now I separate with comma, I go to the other one. The other one, for example, we call it, for example, 2. Now it will go to absolute points of 8 and 2. If I enter, as you can see, it's not relative. It's working with absolute points. It means that 8 in this direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 in this direction. So it is not related to its previous point, because as you see here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. So it's not relative. It's absolute. Now, to see that if it's working with absolute manner correctly or not, we again keep shift with number 3 to activate the sharp sign. In here, again, I say I want to go to point 2 and 0. I say 2 comma 0, enter. Now, as you can see, I'm in my absolute coordinates. I think it's enough to talk about the absolute coordinates. Next tutorial will be on relative coordinates. So please have a coffee and I will wait for you on our next tutorial. And before that, please like this video and also subscribe to the channel to be alerted when new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching. Best wishes. Take care and goodbye.